Hey guys, James here today and welcome back to another mansion build part. This time, the dining room. So we've done the kitchen, we've done the garage, we've done the workshop and reject child's bedroom. It's now time for the dining room. So this is obviously adjacent to the kitchen that's just there on the right. It faces out to the front of the house. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and where this room is, it is in the 64 by 64 lot that I've been building in Windenburg. You can check out the playlist on screen now or down below if you want to watch the other videos, see how they were built, see how the house is built. And in turn, together, we'll all be happier because we all saw how the house was built. I don't know. Well, anyways. So yeah, this time, so I want to just, let's talk dining rooms. Let's talk dining rooms. Now, it's probably the least useful room in a Sims house, I'll be honest, because unless you don't have a breakfast table, because obviously we have the table over in the kitchen, just over that side. And the reason we have that is because, most kitchens, if you tend to have a separate dining room, you'll more often than not, assuming you have the space, also have a breakfast table, which is just like a more informal dining setting. And that's what we've done, obviously, because this house is big enough to accommodate both. But the problem with that in The Sims is the Sims are always just going to sit down at the closest table, which is usually the one in the kitchen. Or sometimes they just randomly go to the dining room. But the reason I bring all this up is because I've mentioned before in the previous parts, I'm trying to give every room a purpose. And then this one is it's most likely the least useful one, unless, I say that, unless I specifically make them come and use it, which I could do for sure. Like I can get them all to come sit down at the table, but it's just kind of annoying. Anyway, having said all that, because in light of all that, I want to make this room at least feel inviting and look pretty nice and pretty exciting to be in when we do actually use it. So that's why I'm spending so much time, particularly in this little spot here in the corner on the wall. We got this like 3x1 little space there, and it's definitely perfect for like a side buffet table or something like that. And that's why I'm trying to design something that's going to fit in this space and actually work to sort of incorporate more character into the room, because we could just do a big painting on the wall there, or we could just do some shelves or something. And believe me, I've done this before as well myself. I've just put bookshelves everywhere, and bookshelves look really good, but at the same time, you don't need that many bookshelves in life. Oh, actually, so right here, this is a handy little tip, which I'm going to be making sure to give you plenty of tips in these room build videos, because I think these are good because we get a closer look at everything, and we get to talk through things a little bit slower. So that mirror, if you want to raise a mirror up and down, you can always move a mirror up. That's not an issue. With move objects on, you can easily do that. But if you want to lower a mirror below where it would normally go, you have to remove the wall, and then you use move objects to raise it up from there, and then sort of trying to line it up where the wall would be, because it allows you to sort of place it at any height. I don't know why it isn't just built in by default, because mirrors don't seem to have... There's no issue with mirrors in this game working if they're at different heights. I don't know why they don't just let you put them at different heights. I don't know why they're fixed. I don't know why they did that. Anyway, my point is, if you want to put a mirror at any height, remove the wall. First turn on move objects, then remove the wall, then place the mirror, then put the wall back, and boom, you get the mirror in the exact spot you want. Because I could have placed a full-length mirror behind there, but I didn't want the huge mirror to be there, because when you put the walls down, the cabinets on the walls disappear, so then we'd have this huge mirror that we'd see there all the time. And I thought as well, especially in that little space, having that mirror with the frame, I thought looked pretty cool. And then I'm putting all those decorations in front of it, which just gives that whole area, it gives it a little bit more depth, but also makes it feel a little bit larger. Like you got that, the sort of separation between the shelf and the items on it, and then the mirror behind it sort of pushes everything back even further, which I think makes the place feel quite nice. Especially that little corner there that it's in, where this whole side table thing is. It is a little bit darker in that corner because it is sort of around the side there. There's a few windows to this room, but it is still kind of dark. Most of the light, especially the kitchen, is really bright. Like that gets a lot of sunlight. That's really, really nice. And around the front of the house, not as bright, so that's why I think having the mirror there is also probably a good idea. Now, there was a lot of effort put into choosing the right table and chair combo for this, and I think in the end, it turned out okay. So in the previous house, so this house is all based around a family that is living here. And if you just come into this video brand new, you don't know what's going on. The family, they're a little bit strange, a little bit weird, a little bit quirky here and there. not overly so, not crazily so, a little bit. So their previous house, they had crazy, like really colorful chairs, all different colored chairs. This one, I was like, you know what? They're a little bit older now. They're sort of middle-aged, maybe upper middle age at this point. And you know, maybe they're feeling a little bit more classy. They got some money now. They got this huge house. They're trying to be classy, but this is what they do. They buy that dog painting where they're sitting around a table playing "Don't Wake the Llama," which by the way is awesome. I love that picture. So they do stuff like that. They're still kind of weird. And then we got the mismatched chairs around the table as well, which I actually really, really like. I think it's a subtle nod to the previous house that we had, but still gives this room enough character to be interesting. Now, around this side as well. So these two walls are actually really, really blank, which is not a problem. It just means we have a lot of room to play with, and we have to design it in a way that is going to be a little bit fun to look at, because it's, look, to be honest, most of the time the walls will be down, but when you put the walls up, you want to be looking at something that's a little bit more interesting than just a blank wall. And there's a few ways you can go about that. You can always just do a different textured wall, because obviously the walls we're using are just blank themselves. Like they're just pretty standard colors. There's nothing too crazy about them. Some of the rooms we change up, but usually not too much. So in that case, if you use a pretty standard wall, you want to try and incorporate that into the design, or use that blank base to be able to add detail on top of it, if that makes sense. Or, I mean, actually, to be fair, it depends what you're building. In this case, obviously building a traditional dining room. So in that case, we're going to be decorating the walls, the room, lots of like objects, we've got lots of plants in here as well. We've got lots of little statues here and there. This is also another, like the kitchen over there, I think I said in that video, is like the hub of the house. The dining room is like a semi-hub. It's still like a place that all the family members will gather together. Obviously, when we do like holiday dinners or breakfasts or whatever like that, they'll all gather in this room. So you still want it to sort of incorporate that communal family vibe, if that makes sense. So we're not doing it particularly in this room build because I don't have the items, but when my family moves in, I actually place a lot of the family's collectibles in this room, any awards that they've won, and I think that sort of brought it all together in the end. And I think that actually worked really, really well. So I also, I didn't really mention it, but we have another one of those bay windows in this room. I think all four of the bay window, or all four of the sort of windows there where it's like the little diagonal section, I think I put bay windows in all four of them just because, oh, actually, no, I don't. One of them I don't. And I won't spoil it if you don't know what we put there. But oh, it's a doozy. Yeah, downstairs we do mostly bay windows everywhere. But yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, talking about sort of incorporating the aesthetic of the family as well. So this house is very much designed around my family, but I think it can still be used pretty well with almost probably anyone. Like you'd probably have to do maybe a little bit of refurnishing here and there, maybe just tone some things down a bit, or even, and I've mentioned this before, like this house, by the way, is already available on the gallery. Like the entire house is completed. You can go download it, check it out. If you want to download the house, I would love to see like modern sort of renovations or makeovers, or even just like you renovate a part of the house. Maybe the kitchen was just done up or something like that. I would love to see that kind of stuff, just little bits here and there. And now I think I found, so I just jumped outside because I think I found a couple of plants. I'm like, hey, those plants would be perfect outside. That's actually what happens a lot when I'm building. Like if I'm trying to find a decorative item and then I find something else, and I'm like, oh, that's really good. That would be perfect over there. I'll just grab it out, place it down so I can use it later. I was just trying something a little bit fun with those pictures on the wall over there, where we have the sort of two shelves offset between the pictures. I know we can't see it. I know we literally just turned away from it. But when we could see it, I just sort of offset the shelves and the pictures because I thought it was a little bit more interesting than just having the two photos side by side like that. And that cabinet on the side there, I was just sort of playing around with the colors because, like I said, this family's a bit weird, a bit quirky, so I wanted to do a little bit of a different cabinet there. But anyway, that's it for the little time lapse. Let's actually just jump into the game real quick and have a look at the finished dining room. And here is the dining room, which I think in the end actually looks really, really cool. I'm so happy with this because I think it definitely looks, it's one of the more normal looking rooms in the house, if you can call it that. I mean, it's pretty normal. I mean, we've got some pink curtains. We've got a Jerry on the wall right there. Got a couple of those sort of, so these are the shelves that I was talking about, sort of like misaligned a little bit. I think it just looks kind of interesting, more so than it was if it was just side by side. But in the gameplay, I actually put some like family decorations and trophies and stuff up there and collections. So that's what goes there later on. Then we have this big weird ass painting on the wall. Like, I mean, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, it is awesome. But like, it is something that if this was like a big, like, maybe an old fart's house, if you will, we'll call them that. If it was some, stickler for the rules kind of person, they probably wouldn't have that kind of painting. Then over here, we have the nice little buffet table. And then we have this whole side section that I was working on quite a lot, which I'm really happy with. I think like this is what I was talking about. Like when you look at it at this angle, you get this sort of, you get this like on the surface, this cabinets on the side with all the plates in it. But then you sort of look a little bit closer, you can see in the reflection the dining table straight on through there. Like I think it looks really, really nice. And it's just something that it works out quite well in the end. You sit here, you can look out the window. But yeah, this room is a little bit darker than the other ones. Well, especially than this one. Even though I think they have exactly the same amount of windows. But it's more so, this definitely has more lights in it. And it's also just lighter in color. Like we have the white walls. It's also really, really open all the way down over there. A little bit of a spoiler for upcoming videos. But yeah, so that is the dining room, which I think looks just perfect for this house. Like I couldn't be happier. It fits in so well. So let me know what you think down below. Leave your comment. You can also download this at the link below. The next room build we'll be doing will be the foyer and the hallways, the room between the rooms. Which is actually really interesting. It's a fun challenge trying to solve what to put in hallways other than, a rug and a side table, because you can't do that everywhere. So we have to solve that next time round. So stay tuned for the next part of the mansion build. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time and have an awesome day.